It's William with the Riverstone Life, and yeah, what am I doing today? Well, besides doing my good deed for the day, somebody's vehicle was dead battery, so I went and jump started it off my big RV battery that I, use to haul RVs. He said, "Do you have jumper cables?" I said, "Well, yeah, but maybe I don't even have to use my truck. Maybe we can just jump it off this battery." He goes, you drive around with an extra battery?" I'm like, "Well, it's an RV transporter truck, so yeah, we have an extra battery." So, I'm going to ask you something. What do you do when you're waiting for a reload and one hasn't showed up yet? You know what I do? I wash my truck. Doesn't Sister Wife look great? Sister Wife's all clean. The weather got nice. It's funny, as soon as I washed the truck, all of a sudden the weather got nice. Then I get to this rest area because we had her serviced and everything. And I wiped everything down, got my vacuum cleaner, vacuumed everything in here, got it all cleaned up, straightened my blankets and stuff up. Truck looks great. Got my bed stuff all straightened up and cleaned up, organized, everything wiped down so I could find everything again, because I spent like 4 days in this truck now, so things start to get a little dirty, a little messy. I don't think I have any new, let's just, this is what you got to do. You're always refreshing this thing about 4,000 times a day, and look at no reloads, one regular load, no reloads. That's what you do this time of the year, right? But doesn't the truck look good? It's all clean. Looks good. I couldn't make it without my Blue Eddy. Anything else that I haven't showed? You know what? You guys haven't seen my heater. If you watch my other videos, I got this same heater in the Riverstone in the bedroom. So when it's cold, I can roll over at night, just hit the button and warm the room up, so I don't have to run propane all the time and waste all that money. Well, I decided to, let's see if you can even see this in here. I decided to cut this out right down in there. Hopefully you can see it. I cut it out and pushed it down underneath there in that empty space that I had right there, and it pulls all the air from right there. And then I was able to set this in here so that it's high enough where when I'm laying in the bed, I don't have any blankets or anything hitting it, because I lay at that angle, and the heat's not so high up here, so it's not hitting anything up there. But I just roll over at night and I just hit this little button, and the little red light comes on and it warms up. Sometimes I'll just go to bed with no heat on at all. Last night was a pretty cold night, and I rolled over about midnight and I clicked this thing on and I just left it. And what's nice about it is it will kick on and get up to operating temperature, and then it shuts down where it's still putting out heat, but it doesn't take any juice from my solar generator. And then if it gets really cold in here again, then it might kick on again. But a lot of times that thing kick on a couple times at night, hardly use any of my solar generator and keep it warm, and I barely have it turned on. So if you had a big space, you could really crank it. I don't have a big space. But what I like about this thing is nothing gets hot to a touch. The hot air blowing out of here, you can feel that. I'm gonna make myself a little thing that turns it like this more, so that it shoots it out that way instead of shooting it straight up. I also got some heat resistant backing stuff to go up here. I had to order it. I wasn't sure if I was gonna need it, but I did order it, and I've been using this now for the last couple trips, and it doesn't run all the time, so I was worried about it maybe getting the top of the truck really, really warm, but it hasn't done that. But I still bought the stuff, so I'm still gonna put that backing on there. It's designed to, push the heat down. Hopefully you can hear me over these loud trucks going down the road. But this has been the best heater setup that I've ever had. I've had some of the space heaters where you just put them up there on your center console. You're worried about in the middle of the night, you kick it over, and and some of them get really hot that you can't even touch. You can burn yourself. This just gets hot from the hot heat that's coming out of it. You couldn't burn yourself. You can lay up against this. You don't have to worry about anything. I wouldn't recommend a blanket sitting on this for hours, because that could catch a fire. But when the bed's down and everything, it's up high enough. I mean, I'm like this far away from it anyways, because I'm laying at an angle. If me and Robin are sharing this the same night, then I kind of roll like this, and I have my ass towards the back of it back here, and then she lays in the center there, so I don't have to worry about anything like that. But this thing It's supposed to keep it so you don't get all that, that forced air and things that plug you up. And I've noticed it works a lot like my air conditioner. When I wake up in the morning, I don't have all the windows all wet. They're not wet, so it must be putting out more of a dry heat. I don't know. But the thing works awesome. It sells for $199 on Amazon. I'll have Robin put the link down below in case you decide you want to try something like this, if you can make it work. I just wanted something. I used to have a heater sitting up in the corner over there, and I just felt like I was going to burn my head on it sometimes. I just didn't feel comfortable. And I was like, you know what? Why don't I get the same heater that we've been using for the last 3 years in the Riverstone? I mean, our bed's right there. I never worry about, anything hitting it. And I thought if I can install it on this back wall, it might work. But it would have been so tall that it would have been blowing the heat right there, and I didn't have anything to shoot the heat this way, and I didn't want it that close. So then I just cut out a notch. I notched it out, dropped it down in that little board that goes across there, and it worked perfect. So, I mean, yesterday I was done waiting for a load. I went to the rest area. I was asleep by 6:30, 7 o'clock. I pretty much slept till 2 in the morning, got up for a little bit, checked emails, and made some text messages to everybody. And then the heater was on. It was really funny because I could feel the heat coming out of it. So I pulled the app up on my phone to see if my solar generator is really low on juice. And it's drawing nothing. So I sat there for like 30 minutes going, it's not drawing nothing, and I still got heat. So then I went over here and I turned it up a little bit more, and it took about 3 or 4 minutes, and then it kicked on and it was drawing like 1,000 amps. They say in the thing that this thing only uses 500 amps, but when it first kicks on to get whatever's in there to the temperatures that it wants, it uses more. But it might be the way I have my solar generator set up. I have mine set up to boost the power to whatever it needs. So, but I did plug it into my little 600 one that I got, and it worked on that too. So probably just would run longer and use more juice because it's not efficient. With it set up on this bigger solar generator, it's really efficient. So then I just turned it back down to where it was, and I was sitting there for about 10, 15 more minutes, and I watched my solar generator stop using any electricity, and the heat was still coming out of it. And I went back to bed and woke up like 3 hours later, toasty warm in there. My solar generator, last night it was on, I think I got down to 71% with the heat on, with the refrigerator or freezer on, and with the Starlink on. And that was awesome. I mean, when I run my air conditioner, it gets down to like 60% sometimes, running the air conditioner to keep it cool in there. So this is using less even when I thought it would use more. And I can tell you right now that my Starlink's running about 25 watts and my refrigerator's running about 25. It fluctuates between 45 and 50 with the refrigerator, freezer, and the solar that is draining all night long. That's why I have the solar panels, so that when the truck's not running, everything stays charged up. And if I didn't have these solar panels, what would happen is I'd park this truck for 3 or 4 days, I'd come back and everything would be dead. The solar power is what picks that problem up. Now, if you're just going to park it for a day or so, your truck will charge it up. My truck charges this thing up in like 2 hours now. It charges it so fast with everything that I have hooked up. And then you got the charger one, and then I got this little thing for the solar panels that pops this up to 56. Yeah, 56. I think it's 56 volts. Yeah, 56 volts. Same as what I got the charger one running. 56 volts. Makes a difference. I'm at 98% and the truck's not running, so it will keep charging up with the solar panels. But let's see if anything has changed, because I'm just sitting down here waiting for a load. Something I never do. But I decided to go get the oil changed on the truck. I decided to wash it. Then I got to this rest area, went to the bathroom. I just cleaned up everything, organized my clothes. I mean, I'm all ready to go back to work. Right now, I feel like I just was getting ready to go to work. So I'm either going to get a reload by tomorrow morning, I'm going to go back to Indiana and get a load that I can get delivered by Monday or Tuesday before the holiday, and just chalk this up as to a learning experience. But if you watch the other videos, you know I've done really good on reloads. I should have been on top of this quicker. Some of my other referral guys that have been watching my videos, they weren't even on their way out here yet. They were already getting their reloads set up. I didn't have Brian's phone number, so Now I got Brian's phone number so I can call him or email him and see if he has anything. But they already had their reloads, so some of us are just sitting out here. Those are the guys that took our loads. I've done it before. I've gotten loads before I've delivered my other one, so it's just a part of life. You can't get upset. The only person that falls on is you for not staying on top of the game. You get a little lazy, and this is what happens. But you know what? It's been great because I've been watching some movies. I've been just taking care of paperwork and doing stuff that I was behind on. And I am totally rested up with this little downtime. And if by tomorrow morning, I think I'm going to have a reset on my. By the time if I get a reload and I don't pick it up till tomorrow sometime, I'll have a 70-hour reset again. So I can go do a couple reloads out here, still go back to Indiana, grab something, take it down south, and be fine. So sometimes you got to use this waiting for a load in your advantage, because if I would have just got my load right away, I'd have been on an hour somewhere I would have had to do a reset. And people ask me, where do you do your resets at? Well, who cares? Right now I'm doing it in the rest area by Hansen, Idaho. But the sun's out. My truck's clean. Everything's gassed up. I'm ready to go to work. Wave. I need a job. You know what? Let's see what happens. Let's go over here. Let's hit the magic button that I do 1,000 times a day when I'm waiting for a load, like every other RV transporter does. We got Kansas City to Oklahoma. Yeah, that ain't paying enough, and I'm way too far away. So that ain't gonna work. And we're not in Indiana, so there's probably nothing there either, because everybody's been taking the loads today. And you guys that are watching the videos go, there's no loads? This thing's had loads on it like 10 different times a day, and this is only the excessive loads when it comes onto this load board. I guarantee you that Wave dispatched most of the loads before they even put them on there. The reloads is, and I didn't expect, to be honest. Let that loud truck go by, but I was prepared for this. I told myself when I went out here, if I got a reload, it'd be just super lucky, because it's the end of the year for their inventory. And I mean, I ran plenty of businesses, and the last thing we did was bring more inventory in when we were getting ready to do inventory. So I didn't expect a lot of reloads. I knew that I was probably going to have to drive back, but I always do, and then I get 10 hours away and the reloads pop up. I emailed Brian, and Brian said, I think there'll be some loads this afternoon. I said, you know what? I'll just take it easy today, do a bunch of stuff, get a good night's sleep tonight, and if you don't get me a load tonight or first thing in the morning, Indiana, here I come. Kathy, I need a load going to Florida, Alabama, somewhere towards home for Thanksgiving. You know what? This video's went like 12 minutes, so we're just going to end it right here, and I guess you'll have to watch the next video to see if I got that reload. I think I said that in the last video. You don't see William doing a lot of sitting around doing nothing. This time you get to see the reality of it, because my videos don't show this, because I never do this. And I reach out to a lot of guys that tell me they do this all the time. And they're like, how come you're not putting that in your video? Because I never do it. I usually drop and I hammer down. And I might go to Colorado and spend a night or two there with Robin and the kids when they were in Colorado. My reset's done, and I'm right back to Indiana going to work and doing it again. And I just keep doing that when I'm working. But William's talked long enough. You know, everything's down there in the description below if there's something you want to learn about, you know, the heater, the Starlink, this job, the referral, any of that stuff. You can always reach out to me through the Riverstone Life at gmail.com. If you're thinking about doing this, I'll help you out any way I can. And you know how we end these videos. Always.